All right, let's do this. Today we are diving deep, really deep, into Silver War nickels.
Those nickels, yeah.
The ones minted right smack in the middle of World War II that are, get this, actually 35% silver.
You got it.
From how to quickly pick them out of a pile to are they a good investment in today's world, we're going to cover it all.
That's gotta be fun.
And believe me, there is way more to these nickels than meets the eye.
Oh, for sure. So why do these even exist?
Well, the US of A, right in the middle of the war effort, needed all the nickel it could get its hands on.
Makes sense for the war effort.
Tanks and planes and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff.
They had to get creative and swapped out some of the nickel and our good old 5-cent pieces.
With silver.
You got it, with silver.
Talk about wartime innovation.
Right.
I love it. So if I'm at home and I'm going through my coin jar, what should I be looking for to know, hey, this is one of those silver nickels?
The key is the mint mark.
Okay.
You want a big one?
Huge.
A P, a D, or an S.
Okay.
Right above Monticello. Oh, on the back, the tail side.
Exactly, the tail side.
Okay.
And here's something even cooler.
Oh, I love these.
Philip started using the P mint mark
Oh, okay.
for the very first time
On these nickels.
on these nickels.
Uh,
A P for Philadelphia, finally.
It's about time, Philly. All right, so let's get down to it. How much are these silver nickels worth in today's market?
Well, it's not as simple as just like this is how much it's worth.
Okay, so there's some nuance here.
There's nuance here.
I like it. I like it.
You got to consider the silver content, of course, which is 35% the condition.
Oh, that makes sense.
A beat-up nickel is not going to get you as much as a pristine one,
Yeah.
and any rarity factors.
Okay, so there could be some that are worth more than others.
Yeah, for sure.
Got it.
Then there's what we call the melt value.
Okay.
And that's basically what the silver in the coin is worth
Okay.
if you were to melt it down.
Ah, so just the straight silver value.
It's just the straight silver.
I gotcha.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Melt value.
Yeah.
So how does that apply to these war nickels specifically? Like, give me the nitty gritty.
Right,
Like, what am I dealing with here?
Each silver war nickel, each one, has 0.05626 ounces of pure silver in it.
Okay.
Silver is currently sitting at $32.78 per ounce.
Go.
So the melt value of a single war nickel
Right.
is about $1.84.
So almost $2 just for the silver content alone.
Right.
Wow, no wonder people are interested in these.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the buy and sell prices aren't exactly like, aligned with that melt value.
You are correct.
They're not just going to pay you $1.84 if you walk in.
Right.
Okay, so break it down for me.
All right. Dealers will buy those silver war nickels from you for slightly under melt,
Okay.
typically around $1.50 to $1.75
Garlic coin.
per coin.
Okay.
When they sell them, though, they'll tack on a little bit extra, markup, push the price to maybe $2 to $2.25.
Makes sense. They got to make a living. They're in business.
Yeah, got to make a living.
So you're talking about buying and selling individual coins.
Right.
What about like bulk? Like those rolls of 40, are those priced any differently?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How so?
Think about it like Costco, right? You buy in bulk, you usually get a bit of a discount.
Yeah, I like that.
So a roll of 40 silver war nickels might go for like $60 to $70.
Okay.
But you could likely resell that bad boy for $75 to $90, especially if a collector is looking to fill up their collection.
So there's some potential for profit there, especially if you're smart about how you're buying and selling in bulk.
Absolutely.
But here's the question, the $1,000,000 question, or
Yeah.
the multi-dollar question, I guess, in this case.
Uh-huh.
Are these silver war nickels a good investment?
That's the question, isn't it?
Especially compared to those 90% silver coins everyone talks about.
Huh.
Like, how do they stack up?
Yeah.
Is it a simple yes or no?
It's not a simple yes or no.
It's not.
There's pros and cons to consider.
Let's unpack those pros and cons. What makes these war nickels appealing from like an investment perspective?
Well, one big draw is their low premiums.
Okay.
That little extra cost you got to pay above the melt value.
Right.
Very minimal.
Okay.
So you're basically getting close to the actual silver value with these.
Okay.
Plus, they're more affordable to buy, in small amounts.
So you can kind of dip your toes in.
Yeah, you don't have to go all out.
You don't need a treasure chest full of gold to get started with these.
We got it.
And here's a twist. Some war nickels, they have extra numismatic value.
Ooh.
What's that?
It just means that they're rare.
Oh, cool.
They're rare dates.
Okay.
Or they have some errors on them,
Oh,
which significantly increases the value.
really? So you could stumble upon something that's way more than the silver content
Absolutely.
just because it's rare.
Yes.
Wow, that's really cool. But what about the downsides? What are some drawbacks, versus those 90% silver coins?
I think the most obvious one
Yeah.
is the lower silver content per coin.
Yeah, it's 35 versus 90.
That's
The big difference.
35% versus 90% means that each war nickel just has less intrinsic silver value,
Yeah, that's a valid point.
And that might be a deal breaker for some people
Yes.
if they're really looking for that silver content.
Yeah.
Anything else you asking?
Yeah, less silver per coin. I got it.
Okay.
Anything else I should be aware of?
Well, reselling war nickels can be a little bit tougher,
Okay.
particularly in bulk. So
Harder to find a buyer.
you might need to find a buyer who really wants war nickels.
They're looking for that specific thing.
Not everyone's interested in them.
So you've got a smaller pool of potential buyers.
You got it.
That's something to consider for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And they don't exactly have like the shine and appeal of those 90% silver coins either, do they?
Right. They tend to, tarnish
Yeah, they get a little...
easier because the copper and the manganese in them.
Yeah, it's not pure silver.
Right.
So they oxidize a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal for some, but I know collectors who want their coins to really sparkle. Yeah, they might be a little turned off.
Sure. They want that bright silver.
Yeah.
Okay, so to make this crystal clear for our listener, I think let's compare some numbers.
Perfect.
Let's put some numbers on the table. Lay it out there.
I actually have a little table here.
Oh, you do? All right.
Comparing the war nickels to those popular 90% silver coins.
Dimes, quarters, $half.
Yeah, using the current silver price, $32.78.
Okay. Love a good table. Love a good visual.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up, silver content.
Right.
War nickels, 0.05626 ounces of silver.
That's right.
90% silver dimes, you're looking at 0.07234 ounces.
Uh-huh.
Quarters, 0.18084 ounces.
Wow.
$half, a whopping of 0.36169 ounces.
Exactly. So just by looking at the silver content alone,
Yeah.
you can see those 90% silver coins.
Yeah.
They just pack a much bigger punch,
It's just, there's more silver in them.
More silver.
And that plays out in the melt values as well.
Right. War nickels are at $1.84 fas.
Yep.
Dimes at $2.37.
Mm-hmm.
Quarters at $5.93.
Right. Big jump there.
And $half at a substantial $11.86.
Yeah, that's right.
And remember, that's just the silver.
That's just the silver.
That's not even with the markups and all that other stuff.
No markups yet.
No markups.
Fine.
Okay, so now, market premiums.
Okay.
War nickels usually have the lowest.
Yeah.
But they're often close to that melt value.
Right.
But those 90% silver coins, especially $half,
especially those,
they can have some higher premiums, like what, like 10, 20% above melt?
Yeah, you could see 10, 20%.
Is that right?
Above melt.
Wow.
Because you're looking at popularity there.
Oh, that makes sense.
Demand, how good the condition of the coin is.
So there's a lot of factors that go into that
I
premium.
know a factor.
All right, so now let's get into our listeners' situation.
Okay.
Because they're actually thinking about buying a bulk lot of 200 silver war nickels.
Wow.
For $320.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
Well, let's do some math here.
I'm a little hesitant.
Yeah.
Just because of how many there are,
Yeah.
But let's do the math.
$320
Yep.
for 200 coins.
Yep.
Comes out to $1.60 per coin.
Oh, okay.
Remember, melt value is about $1.84, so they would be getting them.
Below melt.
Below melt.
Okay, below melt is a good start.
It's a good start.
But is it a good deal overall? There's got to be more to consider, right?
Oh, there's definitely more to consider
than just the melt value.
Absolutely.
Like, what else is going on here?
Yeah.
What else should we think about?
Yeah.
Below melt is definitely appealing.
Yeah.
Like you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
But I'm remembering what you said about them being a little bit harder to resell those war nickels.
Right.
Especially in bulk.
Uh-huh.
So is this actually a smart move? Like, break this down for me.
It's a balancing act, right?
Okay.
On the one hand, buying below melt, that gives you a buffer.
Okay.
If silver prices were to drop. Okay, so it kind of limits your risk a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Plus, there's always the potential for profit if the prices climb,
Yeah, silver's going up, you make a little bit of money.
Right. They could even resell them in smaller lots.
No. Okay.
For a higher, per coin price.
So break up that 200 into, 10s and 20s.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
I knew there was going to be a...
But it's true that they, war nickels can be a little trickier to resell than those 90%.
Yeah. Yeah.
especially a large lot like that.
That 200 is a lot of coins.
Yeah.
That's a lot to move.
It really comes down to our listeners' investment goals,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Are they in it for the long haul, or are they trying to turn a quick profit?
Okay, so are they patient or are they trying to make a buck?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's something to really think about,
That makes a lot of sense.
If they're patient,
Yeah.
hold on to them, ride out any dips. That could be a good strategy.
Yeah, they're not in a rush,
Right.
Got it.
But if they're trying to flip them quick,
Yeah.
those 90% might be a better bet.
Okay, so go with the more popular ones.
The more popular ones, because they're easier to move.
They're easier to sell. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now, our listener also mentioned finding very worn war nickels for $1.60 each.
Okay.
Like, is there a catch there?
Well,
I think a worn coin wouldn't be worth as much.
right. On the surface,
Yeah.
buying any silver below wealth seems like a win, right?
You're saving money?
You're limiting your risk because you got that buffer,
Okay.
even if silver takes a nosedive.
So the silver itself is acting as kind of like a safety net there?
Exactly.
Oh.
But here's the thing about very worn war nickels.
Okay.
Remember, we're talking about silver content.
Uh-huh.
Well, super worn coin, they actually might have lost a teeny tiny bit of silver.
Really?
Just over time from handling and being worn down.
So they might not have that full 0.05626 ounces anymore.
Might be a minuscule amount less, but it does impact the value,
Okay.
And think about it, like if you were a buyer,
Yeah.
would you rather have a shiny, well-preserved coin
Yeah, of course.
or one that's all beat up?
Oh, well, scratched up. Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
I want the pretty one.
Those heavily worn coins are going to be harder to resell.
Especially in bulk.
Especially in bulk, yeah.
So it's like a trade-off.
Yeah.
Lower price, but maybe harder to sell later on.
Exactly.
What's the move here?
If they're really set on those worn ones, I'd say negotiate, negotiate, negotiate.
Okay.
See if they can get the price down even further.
Even more.
Maybe closer to like $1.50.
Okay, so haggling is key here.
Haggling is key.
Gotcha. To maximize that safety net.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Now, if they can spend a little bit more per coin,
Yeah.
I'd suggest maybe looking for war nickels in slightly better condition.
Okay, so pay a little bit more, but get a better product.
Yeah, pay like $1.75, maybe even $2 each.
Okay.
But then reselling down the road will probably be easier.
Makes sense. Buy low, sell high. It's classic.
Exactly, exactly.
But this all assumes that our listener is mainly after the silver content, right?
Right.
Like they're looking at this as a pure silver investment.
You got it.
We haven't really talked about the historical side of it.
Historical side, yeah.
I feel like we've just kind of scratched the surface there.
We have.
Like, is there more to unpack there?
These coins aren't just about the silver, the melt value.
Right.
They've got a whole other story to tell.
Okay, yeah, like the historical significance.
The historical significance.
And all of that.
You got it.
Okay, so unpack that for me.
They have numismatic value, too.
Okay.
And that's where things get really exciting.
Ooh, I like exciting.
For collectors.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah?
There's got to be some serious treasures out there, right? Like rare dates, minting errors, like all that cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Tell me more.
Some of these rare war nickels,
Yeah.
they can be worth way more.
Than the silver.
And the silver.
How much are we talking?
We're talking hundreds of dollars.
No.
Sometimes even more.
For a nickel.
For a nickel.
That's wild.
It pays to be a keen observer and know what to look for.
Yeah, so it's not just about the silver. It's about knowing your history and recognizing these little imperfections that can really make a coin valuable.
Exactly.
So give me some examples. Like, what kind of stuff am I looking for?
All right. Take the 1943p double die variety.
Okay.
It's a minting error where the eye on Jefferson's portrait,
Okay.
it looks like it's doubled.
Oh, wow.
And that little quirk,
Yeah.
it can make those coins worth anywhere from $50 to $200
Really?
or more, depending on how pronounced that doubling is.
Wow.
And the coin's overall condition.
So the better the condition, the more it's worth.
You got it.
Wow, that's great. So, like, are there any other ones? Like, what other surprises are out there?
Oh, there's another one
Okay.
called the 19432 Tash overdate. And this is where a 1943 die was accidentally stamped over a 1942 die.
Okay.
And it created this noticeable overdate on the coin.
Wow.
And these can fetch a pretty penny, too, anywhere from $50 to $300.
For real?
Or even more for, like, pristine ones.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's not just about the silver.
No.
It's about these it's like knowing the history, knowing the imperfections.
Right.
And what to look for.
Exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then even beyond the error coins, There's a whole grading system
Oh, really?
for war nickels based on their condition.
Okay.
So the ones that have crisp details,
Yeah.
minimal wear,
Okay.
nice luster, those can command higher prices.
Okay, so it's not just about the errors.
No, it's about the condition, too.
Yeah, like how nice the coin actually looks.
Exactly.
Wow. So there's like a whole other level to this.
A whole other level.
It's not just about the silver. It's about recognizing
Yeah.
those little unique traits
Yeah.
that set certain coins apart. It's like a treasure hunt within a treasure hunt.
That's a good way to put it. It's very captivating.
So this is fantastic information.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm a little overwhelmed.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Where does a newbie like me even start learning about all these rare varieties, the grading systems?
Yeah, there's tons of resources
Okay.
that can help you get started.
Good, good.
There's a book called The Red Book,
Okay.
and it's a great guide. It lists and values different coin varieties.
Okay.
You can find a wealth of knowledge online,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like PCGS and NGC. Those are like the big players
There's the coins.
for coin grading and authentication.
Okay, cool. So there's hope for us beginners?
There's hope.
Okay.
And you know what? Don't underestimate hands-on experience.
Okay.
Like, go visit a local coin shop.
Yeah.
Go to a coin show.
All right.
Just look online.
So immerse myself.
Immerse yourself. Familiarize yourself with different war nickels.
Get my hands on some coins.
Yeah.
Feel them.
See the difference.
See the difference between them? Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
So dive in, explore, and maybe get a little obsessed with this coin stuff.
Maybe.
You know, I'm starting to catch the bug a little bit myself.
Yeah. That's the magic of it. There's always something to learn.
I like that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So we've covered so much today. The history, the melt value, investment potential, you know, those numismatic treasures. Like, what are the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with?
Yeah, it's just wild how these, you think of a nickel, you think of something so common, so ordinary.
Right, 5 cents.
5 cents? Yeah.
Pocket change.
But there's, like, all this depth to them.
Yeah, they got a story to tell.
Yeah.
Got a lot of history there.
I think the big takeaway for anyone listening is Silver War nickels. They're not just spare change.
No, they're not.
They are a piece of history,
They are.
a tangible piece of history with a story to tell.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, you've got the silver content,
Yeah.
which makes them a potential investment opportunity.
Right.
But as we've learned, comparing them to those other silver coins, like the dimes, the quarters, the half dollars, those 90% ones, that's really key to understanding their true value.
Absolutely. And I think war nickels, they're a great way to just dip your toes in
Yeah, good start.
to the world of silver investing.
Yeah.
But they do come with their own little quirks,
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
like their low premiums,
Yeah.
the affordability, that chance of maybe uncovering some numismatic value. That's a big plus.
Yeah, those are big pluses.
But then you can't forget about the lower silver content
Yeah, that's true.
and the fact that reselling them can be, a little bit of a puzzle.
Yeah, it's not as straightforward.
Yeah, not as straightforward.
It's a little bit more niche.
It is. It is.
And we can't stress enough how important condition is.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're buying in bulk or picking out individual coins,
Absolutely.
understanding how the wear and tear affects that silver content and the overall appeal
That wear and tear.
is crucial.
Yeah, that's important.
So a worn nickel might seem like a steal,
Right.
like, oh, I'm getting a deal.
At first glance, yeah.
But it might not be the best long term.
You ever want to resell it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something to think about.
So much to think about.
There is.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. I'm really glad we did this.
Me too.
I've learned a ton about silver war nickels.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, though.
Okay.
The numismatic value.
Right.
We focused a lot on the investment side.
We did.
But there's a whole other world to discover.
Yeah, there's a whole other world.
With these coins.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, like, what else is there?
I encourage everyone listening.
Yeah.
Go beyond just the melt value, the silver content. Dive into those rare war nickel varieties. Oh, yeah, we were talking about those.
Those fascinating minting errors. You never know.
You could have one at home.
You'd have a hidden treasure.
Yeah, in a collection.
Tucked away somewhere.
Just waiting to be unearthed.
Exactly.
So the adventure doesn't end here.
Doesn't.
From checking your pocket change
Right.
for those mint marks
Those mint marks.
to, learning all about grading and authentication.
Yeah, sturdy.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
It's pretty crazy to think about
It is.
that a 5-cent piece
cents.
could hold so much history and intrigue and potential value.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find.
It's a good reminder
It is.
that sometimes the most fascinating stories
Yeah.
are right under our noses.
Exactly. Happy hunching, everyone.
That's it for our deep dive into silver war nickels. We hope you've enjoyed the journey, and maybe you've even caught the coin collecting bug along the way. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those coins rolling.